So today I'm going to be talking about how I became a semi-freeformer. Let's get to it. Welcome back to the Atreyu Locs channel. Hi, I'm Atreyu, a semi-freeformer who is dedicated to bringing you guys the best tips to grow a healthy set of locks. If this is your first time, make yourself comfortable. I'm glad to have you. So I am a semi-freeformer. Have I always been a semi-freeformer? If not, when did I become one? Why did I become one? Well, I'm going to be addressing all of those questions and some of your comments in today's video, so let's get right into it. So, yeah, circa 2014, not even circa, it was in 2014. August 16th, 2014 is when I got my locks installed by my mother, who put in comb coils. I had done tons of research and I was like, Mom, can you do those? And she learned how to do them and yeah, put them in. And I haven't looked back since. Today is Monday, August 18th, 2014. And just 2 days ago on Saturday, August 16th, 2014, obviously, you went home and you got, well, your mom put in the comb twist, because those are the twists that you decided to use for your starter locks. And the purpose of this video is just to show you where you are, or where you started at. So, as you see, these are your starter locks. I don't know how well the lighting is, but they're a little bit wet because you just got finished doing insanity. You just got finished exercising, so they're a little bit damp. But yeah, she put in a lot of them, as you can see. I mean, a lot. And your hair, before you got it twisted, was like, I mean, it would stretch to here, out to here, or whatever. So a lot of shrinkage definitely occurred with these comb twists, but you anticipated that. But yeah, this is, yeah, she put in a lot. This is the length that I guess you're gonna be starting out with. Yeah, I'm happy. I mean, I'm happy with this look. I know this isn't gonna last forever, the shininess, but hopefully as they grow, you know, it'll grow into something that looks good, you know, equally good, if not better. So I've been the only person who has ever maintained my locks, and I'm proud of that fact. So how did I become a semi-freeformer? I started with comb coils, right? And first we should address, what is a semi-freeformer? Well, a semi-freeformer is someone who does not do maintenance super often. Have I always been a semi-freeformer? No, I definitely have not always been a semi-freeformer. That first year, I definitely retwisted once a month, okay? That would place me into the manicured Loc'er category, right? But then I started to jump on the bandwagon that says, abstain from retwisting, you know, give your scalp some time to breathe, let your roots and everything grow out, which makes sense, right? Because too much maintenance and too much tight maintenance can cause your locks to thin out. So it sounded good enough. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do that. So I went from retwisting once a month to every 2 months. And then that next time I skipped 3 months. So it was every 3 months. And then I went back to every 2 months. Over that whole period of time, retwisting those 3 times in 2 plus 3 plus 2, which is 7 months, I noticed that my locks started to thin out, which didn't make sense to me, because I was like, why are they thinning? They shouldn't be thinning. I'm doing less maintenance. I'm not thinning my hair out. Why are they thinning out? This does not compute. I did more research, and of course back then I was an avid Yanni, the lockologist, YouTube channel watcher, and I learned about this phenomenon that I've stated in several videos called hair growing away from your locks. I did some theorizing,
some researching, and I realized that that was why my locks were thinning out. It was because, in my case, because I am someone who has hair that grows away from my locks, I wasn't reincorporating that new growth back into my locks with enough frequency. And so even though the hair was there coming out of my scalp, plain as day, it wasn't going into the locks. And so they were thinning out. So then at that point I was like, well, I could never be a freeformer, you know? And I had always really enjoyed the idea of just having locks, being free, you know, doing what you want when you want, or not doing anything, you know? There's no pressure to do maintenance. There's no pressure to have your locks look a certain way, to a certain neatness or anything, right? But when I realized that I have hair that grows away from my locks and that they thin out as a result of me not doing maintenance often enough, that made me sad, because it's like I can't even freeform. Not that I ever like truly wanted to become a freeformer, but you know, it's different when you don't even have the option, right? Options are always nice. So yeah, I was like, well, I guess I can never become a freeformer, so I'll just go back to retwisting once a month. So I did, but you know, that still just didn't sit right with me. So then, going back to Yanni the Loc'ologist video, she really does make great content, as you guys know. I learned about the braid technique because guess what? She also has hair that grows away from her locks. So to solve that issue for her, she has her sister braid that new growth back into the lock. And it stays in the lock much longer. They don't thin out because that new growth is braided into the lock, okay? And not only is it braided into the lock, it ushers in new growth that comes after that new growth into the lock. So it doesn't thin out with time. Now, eventually, you'll get new growth that wasn't there or that's outside of the new growth that's braided into the lock already, and you'll need to use the braid technique. You know, again, you'll need to employ it again. But let me tell you, like, you can go several months without using the braid technique, and your locks will stay intact. And I have several subscribers who have tried it, and it is also working just as well for them as it is for me. So if you have hair that grows away from your locks and you want to not be a manicured locker, you want to do less maintenance, you don't have to be freeform, you can just be, you know, do less maintenance, be a semi-freeformer, then yeah, check out the braid technique for sure. I have videos, tons of videos. So getting back to how I became a semi-freeformer, once I learned about the braid technique, then I'm like, well, now I can retwist less frequently, less often, right? And there had always, as I said, been a certain part of me who just, you know, wanted to like really embrace the aspect of being free on a lock journey. Meaning like, you know, just not having every strand laid in place. Like I could care less about that type of stuff, to be honest. Like I just like my locks, right? And I like that lock look. While I appreciate a nice, you know, retwisted look every now and again, and while that offers me, you know, like true length in terms of my locks, like right after the retwist, I still very much so appreciate like the non-retwisted look, because to me that's like the quintessential like lock look. Like, yeah, you're a locker, you know. So there's always been like this internal battle. Like I want the neatness, but I also don't want the neatness. And yeah, I'm like, well, now that I have that option, I've been given this option to, you know, not do regular maintenance, I'm gonna go for it. And so that's how I became a semi-freeformer. For me, freeforming is not because I want some control, and I've said this in previous videos. I like the neat look from time to time. I like to be able to see a truer version of the length of my locks after that fresh retwist, right? But at the same time, I want to not have that neat look, and I want them to look like what I really consider like just natural locks, right? So I guess I want the best of both worlds, and that is what semi-freeform offers me. It offers me the best of both worlds. So that's how I became a semi-freeformer. It was quite the journey, you know. This is like my 8th year, I believe. Yeah, 2022, and I started in 2014. Yeah, this is my 8th year. So It definitely wasn't a straight path. It definitely was not pre-planned, right? I just assumed as a newbie that you retwist your hair every month, you know, because that's what people said. You know, the videos that I watched, the research that I did, that was what they suggested. So I didn't know anything about, you know, semi-freeform and freeform and stuff back then. Like, now there are all these categories that I'm aware of, and yeah, that's kind of how I became a semi-freeformer. It works for me. It caters to the lifestyle that I live, to the type of personality that I have. That is why I semi-freeform. Okay, so I don't freeform because I want to have a say. I want to exercise some sort of control in how my hair looks, and I don't do the whole manicure thing, you know, the retwisting consistently every 2 weeks or every month like that, because I want the freedom to not have to retwist. And I like not caring, you know, about like how my locks look. Not that they ever look bad in my opinion, but some people are really self-conscious about like how their locks look, especially if they don't have a fresh retwist. Like, you can even watch tons of YouTubers who get on and one of the first things they do is apologize for not having a fresh retwist. What? First of all, your community is composed of lockers. Why apologize to lockers about how your locks look? Like, if anything, those are the people that should be like, yeah, I ain't had a retwist since, you know, this long. And but that's not how it is. So yeah, I wanted the freedom, I wanted the best of both worlds, and it works for me. It truly works for me. Like, I took my locks down for this video because I know you guys like to see my locks because it's a lock channel, even though 99.9% of the time they're up in a tam and satin bonnet combo. But yeah, before taking them down just now to make this video, I hadn't seen my locks probably in like 3 weeks, I would say. Like, I think that was the last time I actually moisturized them. That's that semi-freeform lifestyle for your A, you know? But yeah, you might be thinking, how have you not seen them? Because they're in a satin bonnet normally, you know? They're in that. So like, I'll take the tam off, but then the satin bonnet is still there. That's the base level. So I don't even get to see my locks. And because they retain moisture very well, and because I keep them up, which helps them retain moisture very well, there's no need for me to take them down. I'm not taking them down because I'm doing a retwist, because I don't do many retwists, right? I don't take them down to moisturize them because they don't need that much moisturizing, you know? So I can literally go weeks without seeing my locks, and I love it. I really do love it. And it makes it that much better when I finally do get to like actually see them, you know, again. Like, they're just wow, you know? So yes, this is how I became a semi-freeformer. Hopefully it can help you if you're trying to figure out, you know, what type of locker you want to become. Once again, I have to stress, it was not pre-planned. I just kind of arrived at it, you know? But I will say that knowing yourself, knowing what you're looking for in a lock journey, all those things will help you to make the best informed decision for yourself, because that is always who you have to do it for. If you choose to love, do so unconditionally, because loving with conditions conditions the heart to not really love at all. This is Atreyu Locs, and I will see you next time. Peace. Hey, if you are enjoying this video, don't forget to smash the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you are notified every single time I upload. How about that?